mistakes were made. So before we get too far into things, let me just ask you straight up, would you please like, subscribe if you aren't subscribed, and leave me a comment down below to help this video's engagement with Papa YouTube, because this thing was $40, and I bought it at my local Target, and there's no way it's worth that, so please help. Elite 2.0, right? You love it and you want more of it? No? Oh, well, you get more of it anyway, but this time it's doing something completely different and very, very expensive. Elite 2.0 is apparently no longer going to be a budget release. It's going to be a $40 16-shot gimmicky thing. Okay, so really the reason why I bought this is because I kind of wanted to whet my appetite for the upcoming Flip 32, which I think looks so ridiculous, I love it. But here we have the NERF Elite 2.0 Flip 16. But it only has 8 pointing forward at any one time. You have to flip the barrels to fire the other half. It's got a stock, it's got bolt action, it's also got pump action, we'll get to that. And it fires 2 darts at a time, which means it may actually have 2 plunger tubes within it. This is something entirely different. Do I recommend you go pick one up? I haven't even gotten out of the box, so I'm going to assume no, because it's Elite 2.0, and also, it was $40. That is very expensive, and with how much gimmick is going on here, I'm a little worried if this thing will even function. But let's find out. Action! There's a bit of box. Very heavy, I should note. Oh, there we go. There's the whole blaster right there. Wow, that's a surprising amount of work put into this by Hasbro. And before it, okay, well that's how that works. Before I get too far into this, it actually looks like this thing could come apart. But to be perfectly honest, I'm quite terrified too. Because who knows what's holding all of that together. That is super duper scary. But of course, it actually has to fire darts, so... Priming bar. Drats. Way down at the end. And way down at the end of the box, you get these things, which are the Elite 2.0 flippy barrel system thingies. Again, I understand that this is stupidly expensive, but I do want to point out this is leagues ahead of what you normally get from Elite 2.0. And I'm not entirely seeing how you would ever pop these things off once you pop them back on. I would love to open this thing up before we get into it, but I think I'm just gonna do what my heart desires and pop these together and regret it until the end of time. All the way back, and then square ones, and we just put it like that, right? And I'm assuming this is how we prime the thingy. And yes, it is threaded. Good. So you can pull it back apart if you want to. And it acts as a very rudimentary sight. And then press that in, and it folds down. Which honestly, besides the fact that it's extremely wobbly, is kind of one of the coolest stocks NERF has ever made. I paid $40 for this. Hey, that worked. So, right off the bat, one of the biggest problems is that this thing makes these hit my hand, which isn't great. and they barely align most of the time. I can't really rely on the stock to help me, but you have to really move them. That's awful. You have to really move them gingerly. If you prime it too fast, they kind of overshoot too much. Which, good luck doing that casually in the middle of being shot at by other people. The odds of this performing good with, like, where the airflow, because the airflow has to go from somewhere with this priming rod into each one of these things, and I don't see how that could turn out good at all. And this thing was $40. I could have bought literally anything. All right, so we just prime that back. It's a very, very light prime, and I don't know if the camera picked that up, but the smart AR thing was popping for me. Hopefully the camera is picking that up, and you can hear them kind of unsticking themselves. The performance is not great. Okay, well, besides the fact that the smart ARs are making concerning popping noises, it does in fact work. Just, are you hearing that? And I'm not the only one that thinks that sounds absolutely awful, right? And man, I really wish you were a competent stock, because you would have been so freaking cool. I went into this almost expecting nothing, because I do really want to get the Flip 32, which is a $60 blaster, but this is very disappointing for the amount of money paid for it, and there's no way this mechanism is stout at all. Like, a kid is going to break that. I don't.
Interestingly enough, for the Flipshots 16 here, you can actually prime it and then flip the barrels and technically still fire it as long as the barrels are aligned correctly, which we've already established is a little bit of a gamble. Performance is pretty middling. These darts were a little bit used at this point, but as in classic smart AR fashion, the more shots you get off with the Flip 16, the less power you're going to get, although there didn't really seem to be that much of a change between each sides of the barrels when flipping it. They both seem to perform about the same. It's also incredibly hard to aim to get through the chronograph for some reason. Oh, wait, that's because it's incredibly hard to aim with in general. In practice, the Flip 16 is still massively disappointing, especially for a $40 blaster. The gimmick is interesting, but keep in mind, this is going to be nearly impossible to flip right when running around and being shot at by other people. The performance leaves a lot to be desired. Most of this has to stem from the Elite dart itself. The Elite dart is not good. It has a tendency to just kind of curve randomly off in any direction because it's not very aerodynamic. Swapping that Elite dart out for virtually any other dart, like the Adventure Force waffle tip dart, will get you more consistent performance downrange, but still with that weak firepower, you're really not going to get a whole lot of range out of this thing. So if you want to treat it like a shotgun, well, you're better off sticking with the normal Elite dart anyway, because those are wildly unpredictable when it comes to their flight pattern. If this was a $20 blaster or maybe a $30 blaster, sure, I could somewhat recommend it for the gimmick, but not at full price.
Yeah, I'm going to be totally honest with you with this one. There's no way that if you're a kid, it's pretty heavy. This, kind of a workout. Also, very easy to mess up, and also very easy to break. This would help if it wasn't garbage. The rest of the plastic feels really nice, but this pump is also absolutely tiny, and half the time I still hit my hands with the spinny barrels, and the performance is what you'd expect. So I don't really know how to say anything other than no. I still want the Flip 32, kinda. I'll still probably pick it up because it's absolutely ridiculous, and if ridiculousness is your objective when purchasing a blaster, then I don't think the Flip 16 will prove you wrong. I mean, it's certainly different. The problem is that it's so monstrously expensive. At $40. I mean, there's so many other things that you could buy and honestly be pretty happy about than the Flipshots Flip 16 here. If you liked what you saw, then you could probably rationalize that expense. However, I'm going to say that as somebody who's currently holding one of these abominations, it's probably going to go in a box and stay there for the rest of its natural life. But maybe I was too harsh. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about the Flip 16, if you have any hopes in the Elite 2.0 Flipshots line. I can't say without a doubt that at least this thing feels really solid and nice in the hand. That's the best I got for it. I'm Walcom S7. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you watched it all the way to the end, chances are you like what I do, so please hit like, get subscribed, and leave me a comment down below. But other than that, I look forward to seeing you in an entirely different video.
You gotta